The Eagles have, it was rocky at first. They've won 5 in a row, and they're getting it together. Yeah, they haven't played a lot of great teams, but all these teams have NFL charter memberships. These aren't relegated teams. These aren't college teams. They're beating NFL caliber opposition any given Sunday. We hear that all the time. The Eagles just kind of quietly, like we write them off early. They're 2-2. The struggles from last year are still there. And then it's win, 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 win. And here they are right in the thick of things.
Yeah, and they're playing the way they want to play. And I think that's the key. We always want to see like who you're playing against, but especially when you talk about offensive football, like, are you playing the game the way you want to play? And I think they are. And I know people were kind of like, oh, they're just running the ball and throwing the ball on the outside. I don't know if they could keep what? Yeah, like running the ball with Saquon Barkley and throwing to A.J. Brown and Devontae. Like, there's a lot of offensive coordinators and offenses that would love to have those options. And I think Philadelphia has embraced it. I think Kellen Moore has done a good job of saying, hey, this is how we're going to play. You're going to have to come beat us and take these things away. Jalen Hurts, I thought, has done a good job of understanding even when to run some of those design quarterback plays. All that does is add more pressure on the defense, and I think their defense has played well. They've stepped up, and Vic Fangio has looked like the guy that we kind of imagined he would look like coming in and taking over this Philadelphia defense. So they should be excited right now. I think this team is obviously the favorite in this division, and they're playing like it now.
A couple of years ago, there was MVP hype that attached to Jalen Hurts, carried it all the way through the season. They ended up getting to the Super Bowl. This year, he's kind of an afterthought as it relates to MVP, but should he be? 10 rushing touchdowns this season, tied for second in the entire NFL. He has 8 rushing touchdowns in the last 4 games. That's the most by a quarterback over a 4-game span in the Super Bowl era. 34-11 in his last 45 starts. Just getting it done. Leading the offense, scoring points with his legs, and getting it done. Do you think that, and I know like it's Lamar Jackson and Jared Goff, well, Sunday night may have changed the opinions on Jared Goff as an MVP, but it feels like Lamar Jackson and everybody else. Could you see Jalen Hurts making a late run and making it interesting, especially if the Eagles, and remember, I say all the time, if you're the 1 seed, that's what matters. If the Eagles are the 1 seed, could Jalen Hurts be the MVP?
I think it would have to be on these last stretches of games. Like right now, I would say his season's kind of half really good, half kind of poor. And I think the way he finishes the season can have the biggest impact on him getting into this conversation. But for me right now, like I wouldn't even consider him for the MVP race because early in the season it was turnover after turnover. It was almost like he was costing them more than anything, putting them in bad situations in the game. Whereas now we're seeing a Jalen Hurts we expected to see. He's the reason they're winning games. His ability to run the ball, throw the ball, and knowing when to do the other thing. So, yeah, I think there's a chance he gets in the conversation because they're trending upward. He can continue this great play and ultimately get in the conversation. But right now, no, not for me.
Here's one that takes me back to 2012 because for most of the season, it felt like Peyton Manning was going to be both the comeback player of the year and the MVP. Adrian Peterson took MVP away from him, although he could have taken both away from him because Peterson was coming off the torn ACL, almost set the single-season rushing record. He won MVP over Peyton. Kyler Murray, comeback player of the year already in my view because he missed half of last season recovering from the torn ACL. He's been spectacular. He could be the MVP. 16 total touchdowns this season, 12 passing, 4 rushing. He was 22 for 24 for 266 yards, a passing touchdown, and 2 rushing touchdowns in the blowout of the Jets. He has a career-best 100.8 passer rating this season. Does he get MVP consideration if the Cardinals keep doing what they've done recently?
I think there's definitely a chance because when you look at this team, it's not like all of the big names after big names. It's Kyler Murray. Obviously, Marvin Harrison Jr. is stepping up. James Conner has probably played as good as a lot of these different backs in the NFL. I don't want to say as good as some of these guys that have been at the top, but the way he plays every single week gives him a chance. But Kyler Murray, to me, is elevating this team at such a level that if they continue to win and they go and win this division and they're a playoff team after a 3-win season last year, like you have to throw Kyler Murray in there because for them to win, I got to imagine these stats get better and better and better, and he starts to have game-changing plays week after week. So Kyler Murray, for me, is definitely in that boat, and the expectations weren't there. Like, we weren't expecting this out of this team. So if they do that, it will strictly be because of the performance of Kyler Murray.
We need to see more Cardinals games in big spots.
Yes.
We need more people to appreciate what Kyler's doing. Getting tucked into that late afternoon regional window isn't the way to get people to understand and appreciate what Kyler Murray's done this season. All right, the other thing to keep in mind, too, when it's time to vote, there's 5. You vote for 5. And even if it's Lamar Jackson, you get enough votes now that guys will get credit through that process. Who is number 2? Who's number 3? Who's number 4? And maybe these guys will get some votes. Look at how the odds have changed. Not much for Jalen Hurts, although it was good, then it was bad, now it's good again. But look at Kyler Murray. He started as 50-1, he's down to 15-1, and maybe he can emerge as the favorite in the NFC. Between him and Lamar Jackson, we'll see if one of them ends up getting the award. All right, DraftKings Sportsbook is the number 1 place to bet touchdowns, and new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the app and use promo code PFTLive when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours. As always, please bet responsibly. We'll have more PFT Live right after this. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.